So how do we create a reference list? I must say this. I can't tell you how many papers that I grade that it says citations or resources. The word is literally reference. References. That's what it says at the top. It's centered. It's not bold. Okay? What you do is you list every reference that you used in your paper in alphabetical order. Every source. Okay? It appears at the end of your paper unless appendices are included. Now your appendices are the last thing in your paper. So it would go, the body of your paper, it would be a cover page, table of contents, your body of work, your references, then your appendices. That is the correct order of a formal paper. And it shows you that in the APA manual. Okay, you want to list alphabetically by order, author's last name, or the first word, or the organization's name, because in that case, the organization would be the author. General directions are on page 180 through 192 in your manual. Specific examples are in chapter 7 starting on page 193. I highlight these to make this easier for you. Okay? Now, this is what a reference page looks like. Well, the beginning of one at least. Center the title references, not bolded. It's at the top of the page, okay? In the middle. You double space your reference entries as well. So you're usually double spacing throughout your paper, and you're also double spacing, which a lot of people don't tend to do, your references as well. The first line is flush left, and the subsequent lines are indented. Okay, each subsequent line. Alright? Now, you see this little box that says, do not include running head in the header after the title page. APA format says your very first page should say the literal words running head. And then it has a colon, and then you put your title of your work in all caps. The remainder of the paper is just your title in all caps throughout the remainder of the paper as your header. Now, if you don't know how to do change first page or make first page different than the rest of the document, ask your instructor, or you can email me. But you can do it, and it's not that hard. Just remember, you must write running head. Okay. You invert the author's last name. Obviously, you do not say, so in this first reference, this is Eva Doyle, I forget who, Sandra Ward, I think it's Ward, yeah, Jody Oman Early. Okay, you don't start with Eva Doyle, although you do because her last name comes first, but Jody Oman Early would not be second. And the reason is because we don't do it by first names. Okay, we do it by last names. Doyle, then just the first letter of the first name, and then if they have a second initial, use that as well. Period, comma, the next person, period, comma, and the last person. Okay? Note that the first letter of the first word of the title and subtitle, or the first word after a colon or a dash in the title, or proper nouns, are capitalized. You do not capitalize the first letter of the second word, not even in a hyphenated compound word. Here's what it looks like. Community Health Needs Assessment. There's your colon. What is capitalized? Does our county look like? County is not a proper noun. If it was Dallas County, it would be. Then Dallas County would be capitalized. Okay? Try not to get too confused. Just go in alphabetical order by the first author's last name. Simple enough, right? What about digital object identifiers? These are DOIs. They're more common now in manuals. The reason these were created is because, let's say that I'm looking at a paper from 5 years ago, and you give me just the hyperlink, and I go to that hyperlink and it no longer exists because that document is no longer held in that space in hyperspace, then I don't know where to find it. The DOI will actually follow the paper around. So look at the APA manual 198 through 199, and it will show you. Not all articles have DOIs. As you can see, there's two different examples, one with two authors in a DOI. Always an and. Always the year. Okay? See how Health Psychology and 24, that is the name of the journal, and 24 is the volume. those are italicized. Your page numbers are not, and then the DOI is last. It is DOI in all small letters with a colon. Okay? The second example is showing one without a DOI. Okay? Same thing. E-Journal of Applied Psychology, Volume 2, Issue 2. The Issue 2, the one in parentheses, is not italicized because the issue number is not italicized, nor is the page numbers. Okay? Then you have to say retrieve from. There's no longer, most of the time, necessary to do a retrieved on date. That is one of the things that changed with the 6th edition. Retrieved on date is only used when the information will be fluid, meaning it'll change. Most of the stuff that you're going to gather, a journal article, statistics, data, whether it be not primary but secondary data, is already going to be published. They're not going to go back and change that, so it's not fluid. It is exactly what it is, so you only need to say retrieve from, not retrieved on. Okay? Just some more examples of journal articles without DOI bound. Here's one with up to 7 authors. Now you list all the authors in the reference list. Right, if you look at page 198 to 199. When it has more than 7 authors, list the first 7 followed by 3 ellipsis points, then the last author of the source. The example below that shows you 7 authors, 3 ellipsis points, or periods as you might call them, then the last author. Okay? Because let's say there's 12 authors, I mean really, it just saves you a little time. And that's pretty much all about that. Technical and research related reports are a little bit different. If you look on page 205 and 206 of your manual, it will show you how to cite each one of these. The technical report basically is the organization. Of course, right here is the author. It says retrieve from, and exactly where you got it from. That's pretty simple, pretty cut and dried. However, your research report example usually has an author. It will have a research report number, as you see in parentheses, retrieve from what website, and then give the URL. Okay, so that's the only one that's really kind of different as far as giving the actual website of the retrieved on. If you do a book, here again the page numbers in the manual for you to reference to. I'd keep this handy, 202 and 203. This is a print version. If you'll notice that for this book, and it's one of your textbooks, all of the words are not capitalized in the title, only the first. Same thing for electronic version, except again, after the question mark, A is capitalized. It's no different than a colon. Just like the third example, which says disorder after disorder sourcebook, colon A is capitalized. Alright? Adobe Digital Editions version. You're just saying what version it is just before electronic version, DX Reader version. Okay, then the DOI or the retrieve from. Either way, you'll see. Please, please, please refer to your manual. I can't state that enough. There's a book chapter and an edited book. Now, if you notice, what you see first is you will write the authors of that chapter first by last name. Okay, just like you would do a regular reference. What the chapter title is, the health belief model, and then where did it come from? Well, it's in, and now here's where it's different. You use the first initial, last name, in that order of the editors. In this case, it's Karen Glanz, P.K. Reimer, Lewis, they're the eds. The book is Health Behavior and Health Education, colon, Theory, Research, and Practice. Notice the colon and the T are capitalized. Gives us an addition. The page numbers. This is where the actual chapter that you pull this from exists. Then you have the author, the publishing company, where it was from in the name. Okay, so that's what San Francisco, California, John Wiley and Sons Incorporated means. Newspaper article. If the article appears on discontinuous pages, you give all page numbers separated by a comma. Below as an example. See page 200 on your APA manual. Where can you get more help? Well, there's plenty of places. The first place, of course, is your APA manual. Second place is go to the TW Library tutorials on avoiding plagiarism. There's also a useful source for writing an APA style, avoiding plagiarism, grammar checking. It's called Check Writing Center. There's the URL for that. Another good source for formatting APA style and MLA actually, but you won't need that for our department, is the Purdue OWL. Another source is also called Son of Citation Machine. You actually can put your citation in there and it should format it for you. However, I caution you on any of these things, from RefWorks to Son of Citation, to whichever program you might use. You want to double check and make sure that that's done correctly. I've graded many papers where people use something like that and it wasn't formatted APA style. So it's really up to you as the writer to double check your own work, and I strongly recommend that. Okay, now this is for free. One thing that's hard to find as a resource, and I'm giving you this because I give it to my class, when you're citing a personal interview, so whether it be a professional person, a professor, a member of the community, whoever, you do not use it in your references. You only cite it in text. So, what does that mean? It means that if I was interviewing the health director, Dr. Mel Ferrick, let's say, this is how it would be. This example. Health director Dr. Mel Ferrick stated that in his opinion, and there's no quotes here, doesn't need to be, because it's personal communication, of course he's telling me this. The way you cite it is, it's first initial, last name, comma, the actual words, personal communication, comma, the date that you did the interview. One other reminder is this. A new thing in the 6th edition is there's a double space between sentences within paragraphs. You will be counted off for that repeatedly if you don't do that. It seems against your natural nature, and it is, but that is how APA wants it done. So don't kill the messenger. I'm only telling you how it's done. So don't forget, check out your APA style manual, 6th edition, for complete information, and good luck to you all.